Welcome back, guys. I know it's been a while. If I look at my videos, it's been approximately like, I don't know, at least 9 months since I've uploaded a video, and as you can see, it's a mess, but I've made a lot of progress, and we're gonna go through and show you what we've been working on. By we, I mean me. And we've gone through and did a bunch of work on the floor pans, and we're gonna kind of continue with that. It's not done yet, but I've made a huge amount of progress. Hope you're happy with it. We'll keep the videos coming, try to be more frequent with them, and take it from there, really. It's time to start really getting into that floor pan that's been a big issue for so long. So I got to clean some of that off and see how deep that is. I may or may not have to do some repairs there. I think this is going to be good for the most part under there, but once I clean that rust and get rid of some of these pinholes that are in there from screws that they used to hold down their carpet, we'll really get a better idea of that. I know you can kind of see a pinhole right there. That's going to have to be assessed. There's a couple areas in there. I'll take that off and clean that up. Hopefully it's not tucked too far back where I can't get a good weld in there. And then I'm sure there's some on the driver's side as well. You can see another pan that they put back there. And then the biggest one is going to be in the trunk pan. There's a number of areas in there that are pretty bad. And it kind of goes around that curve. We'll see if need be, I'll get rid of that curve itself that sits back there. But first things first, I'm going to have to get the gas tank out just so I don't blow anything up. I'll remove some of the fuel lines that are in the way, and then I can start really hacking into it. I may or may not replace some of the fuel lines while I'm there with some black braided that I'm getting a pretty good deal on, but you know me, I like to mess with things once I get there and put myself further and further into a hole. So, but that's the next task. Should be getting started on that pretty quickly. Alright, so now it's time to start digging into welding up this floor pan and trunk pan. Obviously we can see that there's a bunch of holes in the trunk pan, and that's probably going to be the first thing that I tackle. So if we come over here, I mean, we can see the floor's in pretty rough shape. They've done their own patches. Not quite what I'm looking for. So I'm going to pull that off. I'm going to pull that one off. I have to pull this seat out, but as you can see right there, these brackets that they made were welded to the floor, and that's how they were running their seats. You can kind of see one right there. So I'm going to have to cut those off. There's a couple holes. You can see one right there, right there. That area right there is pretty hit. And then there's another patch, and you can see some more over there. So I'm going to have to pull everything out, and then I'm going to run a wire wheel over all of this and figure out what metal is salvageable and how much patching we're going to have to do. First things first, we're going to tackle that trunk area. But obviously I can't weld these patches in while that gas tank is in place, so I'm going to get that gas tank pulled out of there. First things first, I pulled these screws out of here. They were pretty rusted. Fortunately I wasn't able to get them all out. They're just these little sheet metal looking screws here. Obviously I'm going to replace those when the time comes with probably something either stainless or galvanized. I'm going to pull these screws out of the gas cap just so I can pull that out of there. I'm probably going to go ahead and replace that gasket while I'm there. When I get to the point where I can actually start cutting some of this out, I think I might even, it's either going to be, because I don't need to replace it to OEM standard, I'm either going to go straight over it and fill this whole thing in, which it doesn't look the best, but I might just fit this depth straight over, straight up. Alright, so I don't have to fit the exact contours, but it's still going to be better than it was, but similar to how it was, if that makes any sense. But let's finish getting this filler neck out, and then we're going to hop on the bottom and start pulling off some of that the straps and the sending unit and feed and return line coming off of the gas tank. So I was trying to pull off the the gas tank. Let's get this light down here. Take a look. So now I went ahead and disconnected the sender here on the driver's side of the tank. That's fine.
Right here is going to be the fuel flow, and I'm going to disconnect that. I'm sure it's going to run a bunch of gas out when I do that. I'll probably throw a bucket under that, and then I might even go ahead and, I guess I probably don't need to disconnect the whole sender, but we'll see what happens when I get there. But I was trying to check the size of these straps here, and I realized I could not get onto that with a socket because it's such a long stud. So what I wanted to do is get a wrench in there. Well, this rear valance here, which is on very shoddily, you can kind of see the, sorry if I can get a light in there. Well, it's not connected on this side. And then the screws are loose up here, so I was like, well, as one does, I'm gonna have to fix that at the same time. So let's go ahead and take that off. How do I get to this? These screws that are tucked way into the bottom of this, right there, you can see one. There's another one right down there. Anyways, I can't access them with the rear bumper on. I mean, I guess I was gonna paint the rear bumper anyways, but not something I wanted to get into at the moment. Okay, so let's how do we get the bumper off? Well, through here we have these bolts on both sides of this that are going to be the bumper bracket. This side, or this one, on this side I had this screw, which is whatever, and then the other side, wherever I put it at this point, but it was a nut, and you can kind of see the studs still there, so they're not even the same thing. Where's my flashlight? Here we go. You can kind of see, so that side's fine. This side, it had a nut pretty much welded to the bracket. That one must have pulled out at some point, and they just decided to throw a bolt through it, which is annoying for when you're trying to take off. So I'll probably weld a nut onto that end and then replace both screws going in this way. But that's a pain. Now I got to take off the other side and then take the bumper off. Then I'll be able to access the valance screws, pull that off. Then I'll be able to get to the straps and pull that off. So we're getting there. Okay, so now that we have the bumper off, we can get a better look at what was going on here. So it wasn't so much that these didn't have nuts in the back, it's that they were supposed to be these little clips that have a like a threaded insert deal on the back of it. And I would weld a nut onto these, but what I like about these is these have a little bit of play in them. So you're going to be able to get your bolt threaded into it and kind of have it centered where it needs to be. So I don't want to weld on nuts onto the back of those, although I am going to pull these whole brackets off and probably, you know, sandblast these all down and then spray them black because they're obviously in rough shape. In the meantime, I'll get some new clips ordered for this guy, so I can have 4 of those. And then I noticed that the light for the plate is torn and pretty rough, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it with an LED version. I think I actually have one hanging around here somewhere, but it's going to be a lot cleaner look. So, you know, another thing slowing me down, but I'll get this right, and then we'll take one more look at this. So I got the bumper off. You know me, I'm probably going to end up repainting this back end, at least where it needs to be black. Nice. Where it needs to be black, pull the taillights off, or at least pull the bulbs out so I can paint this black as well at the same time. Pull the cylinder off, pull this guy off, and then I can put it on properly when the time comes. Then this will be nice and clean. That'll be nice and put on the way it's supposed to. And then those, you know, the bumper will be on nice where it needs to be. So let's keep going forward, and hopefully nothing else slows me down. Alright, so I got the bumper off. I'm going to pull all these little screws off to pull this lower valance off. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and pull this line off of the gas tank so I can get that to start dripping, and hopefully there isn't a whole lot in there, but we'll see. My gas gauge didn't work, so I have no idea. So just going to take a little flathead to that, undo that, use one of these little plier deals that have like the circle on the end, and use that to pull it off. Alright, we got most of the gas drained out. See, I got a couple buckets over there, a lot more in there than I thought there was. which kind of sucks. So I took the valance off, sprayed these guys down, the straps that are holding the gas tank up, with some PV blaster to hopefully those will come loose. And then there's these, I'm trying to focus on there, like that hole right there had this guy on it. And then there's a couple more going down that's just holding the sending unit plug. So I'm gonna break loose the gas tank straps, and I believe the thing should come down. I'm not sure if there's a return on the top of it, but we'll see once I get it a little more loose. So after fighting with this thing for a minute, I did end up getting it down. You can see right now I kind of have it sitting on a tote, but everything is free. Got the straps off. One of these straps, the one over there, I could not get the carriage bolt loose. They kind of, let's see. So they go in like that, and as you can kind of see on that hole right there, it's a little rounded out. So the carriage bolt would not come loose. Fortunately, I was able to pry it enough to pop the thing off, and I had the tote there to catch it. This side came free, and the last thing I needed to disconnect, you can see up there, well, that's probably more than likely the sender as opposed to that side. Or no, I guess the electronics are over there. But in any event, I just put a plug in that and disconnected it. And then this thing is free. I gotta put all that gas into a can somewhere before I start welding in here and move this tank to the side. I'll probably end up cleaning this tank off to the best of my ability and spraying it with a anti-rust, rust remover, reformer, whatever it's going to be, and do that before I end up putting it back in. But otherwise, she's out.
But we have made progress. All right, so let's get around to the back end there. I don't think I've shown anything in a while. So here we go. I got the trunk all welded up. Not the prettiest work, but solid. All right, so obviously some of the welds are gonna have to be cleaned up yet. I'm gonna have to grind a lot of it down to make it look pretty. Then I'm gonna seam seal it. Then we'll go over it with like a pour 15 or something like that. But we still have more that I have accomplished. Right now, what is it, mid-April? So, I mean, I'm pretty happy about my progress this year. Let's see if we can, here we go. I know there's not a lot. Look, I know there's a lot of fill panels in there, and I probably should have just, you know, gotten the whole floor pan at this point, but who knew? You never know what you're gonna find until you start digging up more pieces, and this is what we landed with. Let's go ahead and open this door here. Get some of this out of the way. Another patch panel right there, and then there's one under there. This is what we have left. So we got a patch right there. There's gonna be a nice long rectangle there. I don't know why they even put a cover over the plug. We can see another spot back there, and then that curve right there, and that looks like that is it. I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna actually try and knock it out today. I can't guarantee it's gonna happen. After I get it all back together, we're going to clean it all up, paint it all the inside with, like I said, a pour 15 or something like that, make it nice and strong. Put the interior back together. I still got to do all of this stuff. Alright guys, I'm gonna apologize in advance. I'm not sure what happened here, but some of the audio was lost. The video is still there, but the audio was lost during the prep of the floor pan. I just vaguely go over the cleaning solution that I choose. So when prepping the metal pan, I ended up going with a it's called Rust Aid. Pretty much just a metal prep, get rid of the rust, kind of get it down to bare metal. And then I went through with, I want to say like an IPA, and just cleaned it all nice and kind of got it ready. Then I followed up with some seam sealer, and just kind of closed off any of the maybe pinholes or you know, not the best weld that I had going there. Just kind of get a nice clean surface again so I can get the paint going. So that's why this voiceover is for today. Alright, we got the seam seal all straightened away here. Let me turn. Alright, so I mean, it's not pretty and there's a lot of it in there, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. Let moisture in and kind of mess that up. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not pretty, you know. Gotta get some of the edges and whatnot like that. I'm gonna do a little more cleaning up to it, and then I'm going to, I've let it sit well over 24 hours at this point. I just need to go over and prep the seam sealer because I waited so long with a little bit of kind of scuff it up a little bit so it's the paint's gonna stick a little better. Then again, I'm gonna go over it with the Rust-Oleum rust reformer here. Hopefully that turns out pretty good. And if that doesn't, I mean, I need to do full coverage. If it doesn't turn out that good, then I'm just gonna kind of go over it, maybe with even a gloss enamel or something like that paint. Not that it matters, because after this point I'm going to go ahead and put some like Dynamat or something like that on top of it. And then after that you're going to get carpet on top of that. So none of it's going to be seen, but I want it to be protected under there. Alright, I'm at it again. Finally laying down the base coat on, I guess, I call it a base coat, but the floor pan coating that we're putting on here. Let's go ahead and turn the camera. It is right now like 11:30 on a Sunday or Saturday night. And this is the first coat. I'm gonna lay down another coat. Apparently the cheap rollers that I had were not up to the quality that I needed, and they were literally falling apart. But this does look really good, and it kind of looks like it's reflecting rust color, but I assure you that's all black. Look at the pan as well. And I obviously don't have the best lighting going on right now. And this should really be done at the right temperature, which I'm pretty sure I'm a little colder than I should be, but it's turning out pretty decent, I'd say. Again, I'm gonna go through with one more can with a new roller and kind of hit some of these areas. I'll probably do some of this top area to kind of make it clean and consistent. Go inside of those guys, make it clean, and go along the trim by the doors and get those up high just to keep it nice and protected. Then I still have to go through the bottom and touch up those areas as well. Clean up any welds, do some seam sealing, and then go ahead and do a similar coating as well. But this is how it's looking, and I'll give you the final shot in a minute here. This is how she turned out. The shiny areas is going to be the seam sealer, and it's still a little, almost not sticky, but you can press into it if you with your fingernail. I'm sure that's just going to need a little extra time to cure, but otherwise I think it looks fantastic. Really happy with how it turned out. There's still going to be some areas that I'm going to have to probably spray, kind of like inside of there, where you can see the corners inside of those guys. They're just too hard to get to with a roller and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead, and you see a little spot down there too inside of the framer. I'm going to go ahead and probably use a spray inside of that. Let's go ahead and take a look in the trunk as well. Same thing down there, could use some, back there could use some, and I'm going to go ahead and cover all that as well. I mean, all things considered, I'm pretty happy with how well it turned out. Then I even went and hit the old gas tank. It wasn't in bad shape, but why not add some extra protection as long as I'm there. I didn't get to the bottom of it yet. This is kind of how it looked. I don't know if you can get a good grasp on it, but it's kind of grimy. But I'll clean that off and do that right before or as I'm putting it up, just so I can, you know, I can't get to the bottom of it. Inside of it still has some gasoline in there, so that's a little harder to do. Let's turn these lights off here. But now that that is all said and done, and I already have my carpets from, you know, when I got this thing, I need to definitely get ordering some sound deadener and lay that in. Another day back at it again. As I was telling you guys before, got the interior all coated with the rust preventative rust reformer. And now it's time to use this guy. So what that is, for those of you who don't know, is going to be a sound deadener that I'm going to lay along the floor, the trunk, and the fender well, tunnel, yada yada, just to soften it up, make the noise a little less noticeable from the inside here. Not terribly exciting. Do I have enough? I don't think so, but we're gonna go for it anyways and get as far as we can. At least at that point I'll have a better idea of what I need to get it done. So Unfortunately, I thought I got the roller with it, and I do not, so I'm gonna have to kind of massage it in and do what I can to get it right. Stuff smells like burnt rubber. Oh, that's a good thing, right?
Keep the sky on your mind. Flying, get on board. We're soaring on top of the world. Flying, get on board. We're soaring on top of the
So this is more or less the trunk as I got it together. I'm still gonna go ahead and wrap the fender wells on both sides. You can see there's some areas that aren't the prettiest, a little bit of overlap here, so it gets kind of bunchy when you do that. I didn't want to do it, but it's kind of hard to get it where I need to. I left an opening. I'm gonna get a new gasket for the trunk, so not exactly sure how much I should have taken off there or not, but I can always go back and take more. And then there's some areas that I wish I could have pushed in a little bit tighter, but you know, kind of hard without the roller here. And then some areas that ended up pulling back a little bit, you can see right there, so it looks like an open seam, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not exactly the top shelf sound deadener anyway, so better than what I had, which was nothing. So but that's more or less the trunk. We're gonna go ahead and keep going on the inside. I ran out. That's alright, we'll get some more ordered up. Looks like right now you got that cut out right there for the plug, which I got a paint still as well. You can see some gapping right in there, kind of right there. I might fix that one up and that, but you know, it's not going to be perfect. And another one right in there. But there's areas like this where, you know, I overlapped, and this stuff is, you know, 1/4 inch thick or so, and so I don't want to overlap too much because then you're going to feel a seam over the carpet. So I'm trying to not do any overlaps if I can help it. So I have to fight between a clean seam or gaps, and sometimes it's just easier to do a gap in there. Like, how am I going to make this little V? I should have butted up better when I did it, yada yada. It's done, and I mean, in that case, it's not a bad idea to have extra in the tunnel anyways. But we'll get some more ordered up and we'll continue. Alright, so I got the rest of my sound deadener here. As you can see, let's go ahead and turn that around. I got a lot of it done before I had run out. I still got to go through and finish all of this, and I might try to get a little more inside of the fender wells and stuff back there. But let's get this wrapped up and kind of take it from there and see what we got to do next.
so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right.
So I am finally done with the sound deadening. Got it all just wrapped up. You can see a lot of it's a little piecemeal together, little sections here and there, little pieces here and there. Just kind of using the scrap I had to get it done, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. You see I got little areas cut out right there for where the rear seats mount and buckles and whatnot. But this is it all done. I ended up taking 2 rolls, I think 35. I don't know, I have to look into the sizes and whatnot, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So now that that's done, the next order of business is going to be this dash situation. Let's see, get you a little closer here, but you can see they just painted it with a brush, some red color, and in order to get this interior together, I'm going to need to paint that because I can't deal with that. So I'm going to paint it black. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mask off the windshield. I'm going to go ahead and mask off any of the electronics that are down here. I already did kind of some of that earlier. And then I'm going to go ahead and scuff all of this with like a maroon red Scotch Brite wherever I ended up putting it. and then remove any of the loose debris that's going to be there. One of these guys. I'm going to use one of those guys and scuff it all down and get it essentially ready for paint. Once I get it all scuffed out, I will clean it up, alcohol, and kind of make sure there's no debris or anything that's going to mess up with the paint. And I'm going to go ahead and primer it, and then I'll hit it with the black paint. So let's see how this looks. Alright, so I got it somewhat masked up. I just got it pretty much going up to the windshield there. And then I got some bags that are filled in here. Some old newspaper on the bottom there. And I still have to go through and scuff it. I'm not too worried about overspray here. I mean, this seal needs to be replaced anyways. I can't really get under this, so I'll just tend to that when I do this seal and pull the windshield out and whatnot. And I still have to sand down here, sand all this. I'm probably just going to leave this trim on and paint it at the same time. And yeah, I mean, there might be some overspray, but I mean, it's going to be better than it was. So there are some spots that still have some highs and lows. I'm going to go ahead and primer it, at least do the first coat, and see which ones are high and then need a little more attention. Well, yeah, I'm not going to worry about it too much until I get to that point and see if anything else needs to be addressed. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I also want it to look decent, and since I'm doing it more of a matte black, it's probably going to show the imperfections more. But let's go ahead and lay some primer on it and see how it turns out.
What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
Alright, so I got all the primer down. It's not perfect. I didn't expect it to be. You can see a couple issues like right there. Where the adhesive was on from the original wood grain piece that was on there, which I'm taking off. I'm going to put something else there at some point. So I'll probably go through and kind of grind or sand some of that down before I do the next coat. I don't know if that was before or after, but there's some drippage going on there. But yeah, I'll probably go ahead and let this cure for now. Go ahead and sand those down and drop another coat before I go ahead and get the matte black going. But I think it looks pretty sharp, at least a lot better than it did, being that red brushed on, you know, like this. So I'm pretty happy with how that looks. That's probably going to be it for now. At the end of this video, stick with me. We got a lot to go yet. I'm gonna go ahead up this dash, getting the black paint going, make it look nice and sharp, and then we can actually start putting the interior back together. I know the doors need to be done. I don't know if I'm going to worry about that this year just because I have so much other stuff to do on it. but we can get the carpet in, and I think that'll do a lot for helping it look like a real car again. And then after that, I am waiting on this gasket here. Not here yet, but hopefully any day now. I'm going to go ahead and pull these tails out, and then I'm going to repaint. Sorry, I'm up against the wall here. At least from here down to about here. I'm going to redo all that in that same matte black that I've been doing everything else. And then I can get the gas tank back in. You see I already got some new bolts there. Got these straps up there freshly painted. And then I'm actually going to run some braided black AN lines for the fuel going from the tank to the front of the car. Just figured as long as I'm there, might as well give us a nice new sharp look, and hopefully it'll be worth it. But stick with me. I know it's been a long time since I actually started doing the floor pans, but you know, the light is at the end of the tunnel, so we're getting there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon.